Are you focusing on getting a better engine for your car rather than questioning your destination? This is quite a common situation. So very often the changes we envisage making in our lives are around trying to do what we're doing better and not necessarily questioning some of the underlying assumptions, some of the parameters of the system in which we find ourselves. So we may find ourselves falling behind and having a long to-do list that we're not keeping up with, lots of important tasks not getting around to. And we might think, okay, so I need to free up some time. Now, this is a great idea, really important to have excellent time management. But I think it's also really important to ask the question, is it actually sustainable in the long term to achieve the amount that I'm trying to achieve? Or do I need to look at, rather than a more powerful engine, do I need to look at a slightly different destination? Sustainability is a really important concept. And very often in modern workplace culture, there's this kind of hustle culture. There's this idea of toxic productivity, which is a funny term. But I think if we're honest with ourselves, we may be able to recognize it in ourselves and in the people around us, whereby productivity becomes an end in itself. So again, this idea of getting a better, more powerful engine, but is it taking you where you want to go? Now, it may be that within our existing context, we don't need to make any major changes to the shell that we're contained within, but within that system, within the shell, the system, we can have different ideas of what success looks like. We can have different ideas of what a good day's work looks like. We can have different ideas of what is enough. Now, one of the things that I often find people complaining about is this sense of being on a treadmill, constantly fighting fires, constantly putting out fires, and it's never enough. Whatever you do, it's never enough. It's not enough for yourself by your own standards and expectations, and it's not enough for your bosses, your managers, and it becomes relentless and it becomes exhausting, and it can be a track, it can be a path to burnout, which is not a good place to go. Burnout can be pretty horrendous. I know people often kind of talk about it, but it's like you kind of need to live it to know just how impactful it can be, or to know someone that has. And it's really something you want to avoid if you can. So how can we distinguish between, situations where a better engine would be good, I need to be more efficient, better performance? That's really useful stuff, okay? But it's not the only issue. The other issue is, where is this engine going to take me? Do I want to go where it's taking me? Do I need to reevaluate my destination so that even if my engine is like super super powerful, however many horsepower they have these days in powerful cars, it's great, it gets me somewhere, fast, noisy, impressive, but was it where I really wanted to be? Was it somewhere that was actually in my best interests for my long-term well-being and sustainable performance, sustainable success? Something to think about. Thanks for watching.